Nashville continues to set new records with COVID-19 cases. Today, Mayor John Cooper announced 688 new cases. Of those, nearly 200 come from lab results back in June. More on that in just a moment. 8 new deaths. Now, this means Davidson County has more than 13,000 cases. Of those, more than 4,500 people are still sick. More than 8,000, though, have recovered. We have now had more than 1,000 cases in the last 2 days. Rolling back to phase 1 is not off the table. That's according to Dr. Alex Jahangir. But first, more passionate pleas for everyone to wear face coverings and distance themselves from others. News 4's Nancy AMONS is joining us live with more, and it's certainly not the news that we wanted to hear, Nancy.
No, in fact, today we heard in the news conference, as you can tell, the numbers are headed in the wrong direction. That's a quote from the chairman of the health department. Contact tracing is showing that some of the spread is coming from young people who are going to bars. 3 out of 10 cases now are people between 25 and 34. Today, a doctor who's on the COVID front line says that in the worst infections, there can be lasting damage, scarring of the lungs, even psychological trauma like PTSD.
That our highest ICU volumes for our hospital and the highest acuity, that means the sickest patients that we've seen, have come in the past few weeks. This runs in tandem to the increase in new cases that have been diagnosed in our region. It's not very surprising. What's more surprising is that while we have treated severely ill patients across the age spectrum, from the very young, we've had a few patients in their 20s who have been very critically ill, the majority of the patients that are severely ill are in their 50s and 60s.
That's very interesting to note, Holly, as you mentioned just a minute ago, that 688 number included some delayed test results from tests that were done in late June. You know, this is the same lab that had trouble before with delayed test results, AEL out of Memphis. The city stopped using that lab in late June. Yesterday, the state said they stopped using AEL as well. Today in the news conference, we heard some very passionate comments from the mayor, who was asked about his tax increase that was going to be crippling so many businesses. You're going to hear from him in our evening newscast.